reduce the volatility of this, cataclysmic, seismic change in the way that economies are structured is going to dwarf any money printing event that we've ever had, which is why I believe Bitcoin can hit $1 million, with 30, I don't know, 10, 20,000, whatever the number is. But it's going to be crazy because we saw what happened during, the first pandemic of this century, how much money was created to try to lock everybody in their homes. Well, what's going to happen when the United States is being dethroned by a bunch of other countries and they have to share power? Do you think they're going to go quietly into the night and just accept it? Or print as much money as they can to do what they can to forestall that situation? And the balancing factor is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. The co-founder of BitMex, Arthur Hayes, discussed regulation, the current bull run, crypto ETF, trends to watch in the coming months, and the upcoming interest rate cuts.
Yeah, so obviously, Maelstrom is a long-only fund. We have a big bag of Bitcoin and Ethereum. We also have a lot of early-stage token deals. So we're long. We've always been long. What we're really talking about, at least from our perspective, is at the edges, do we play around with how much cash that we hold? Should I be taking some cash from my non-crypto portfolio and adding it into crypto? That's how I'm going at it. Obviously, every single investor is different, so you can't really take an apples-to-apples comparison between what we're doing at Maelstrom and what you're doing with your own portfolio. But this is how I'm thinking about things. So obviously, right now, we have a very favorable liquidity environment. Fed's cutting rates. The European Central Bank recently cut rates. The BOJ was on hold. No one expects them to raise their policy rate until maybe December or January of next year. And we have China increasing monetary stimulus. So the liquidity environment is very positive right now.
Okay.
I am very bullish from now until the U.S. election in early November. And at that point, I believe until the president is known, and I don't think it's going to be known on election day. I think it's going to take, 3 to 6 months before the president is chosen in the United States. I don't want to be adding more risk into the markets. So if I'm putting on risk now, I'm probably going to look to take it off a week or two before the U.S. election, because I believe that whether it's Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, the person who loses is not going to accept the result. Neither will those who supported them. And they will agitate via legal means. They will agitate via violent means in the streets. And any adversary of the United States who wishes to exploit a power vacuum because the president's stance isn't known is going to engage in, military actions against targets that they otherwise wouldn't have done because there's a power vacuum in the U.S. In addition, we have a debt ceiling debate on the 1st of January. The U.S. can't issue any more debt. So we have all these things coming together between the election and first quarter of next year. And so until the president is known and all the legal and, people in the streets, all that evaporates, I don't really want to be in financial markets. Once that's settled, then it's off to the races. Whoever wins the election is going to print money. They have their particular programs. Donald Trump's going to cut taxes. Kamala Harris is going to increase welfare payments. But both sides are in agreement that the government's role in terms of how much it spends needs to expand, regardless of where that expansion is. And so as crypto holders, we don't really care what they spend the money on. We just know that they're borrowing more money. And if the United States is borrowing more money, then the Europeans are going to borrow more money. The Chinese are going to borrow more money. The Japanese are going to borrow more money. So everybody's going to do the same thing at the same time. And so the fiat liquidity in the system is only going to increase. And so, the real bull market, if you want to say that, Bitcoin's up 3x since March of 2023. So I think we're really in the real bull market. But if you've been buying the wrong assets, the real bull market might start sort of, end of first quarter, early second quarter of 2025.
After closing SEP 2024 strongly, Bitcoin price has experienced intense downward volatility this week. Escalating geopolitical crisis in the Middle East has sparked major correction across global risk assets. Following the Fed rate cut on SEP 18, Bitcoin price instantly raced into a 12% rally to a monthly peaks above $66,700. But that rally was truncated on September 30 as the Middle East crisis escalated. While major mega stocks tumbled, BTC price has also took a dive this week, as speculative traders rapidly liquidated their positions in response to the rising geopolitical risks. The escalating conflict in the Middle East has prompted investors to seek security in gold, bolstering its appeal amidst broader market uncertainty, said Leixing, financial markets strategist to Extus. Jeroen Blokland, founder of the Blokland Smart Multi-Asset Fund, was among those who said investors are selling BTC to buy gold, while Adam Cochran quipped about it being a safe haven. Meanwhile, precious metals analyst Jess Colombo told his 169,000x followers that Bitcoin and crypto always tank when there are geopolitical fears, unlike precious metals, before adding, "That confirms my long-held belief that crypto is not a safe haven. It's hit another risk asset, just like high-flying tech stocks."
Yeah, so I just wrote an essay called Volatility Supercycle, and I posted a chart, and it had the volatility of the U.S. bond market overlaid with the amount of bank credit that's been issued over time. And my point is that the authorities, and I'm using the United States as an example, but every single government follows the same prescription, they want to reduce volatility. And so every time volatility spikes, because volatility is natural, the universe always wants to become more chaotic, we attempt to forestall that by expending energy. So the way that the governments expend energy is they print money and they suppress market volatility. And every subsequent crisis requires an ever greater amount of fiat to tamper the volatility. So if you think about COVID-19, the United States was the most aggressive in terms of stimulus measures. They printed 40% of dollars that had ever been created were created between 2020 and 2022. So that was the amount of credit that was needed to dampen that volatility event. Now imagine a volatility event if we're going to change the relationship between the major global powers in the world, which is what we're going through, this whole de-dollarization, the multipolar world order, the global south and the BRICS versus the West, all these sorts of things is just a realignment of the deck chairs. And so if I'm an elite in charge of these governments and I don't want things to change, then I'm going to have to expend an even greater amount of energy to dampen this volatility. So I believe the amount of fiat liquidity created to attempt to reduce the volatility of this, cataclysmic, seismic change in the way that economies are structured is going to dwarf any money printing event that we've ever had, which is why I believe Bitcoin can hit $1 million, with 30, I don't know, 10, 20,000, whatever the number is. But it's going to be crazy because we saw what happened during, the first pandemic of this century, how much money was created to try to lock everybody in their homes. Well, what's going to happen when the United States is being dethroned by a bunch of other countries and they have to share power? Do you think they're going to go quietly into the night and just accept it? Or print as much money as they can to do what they can to forestall that situation? And the balancing factor is Bitcoin. We love volatility. We love the natural state of the universe. The authorities hate it. And so as they print more money, Bitcoin and other cryptos go up in value. So that's where I believe the real bull market starts. We saw sort of a preview of that, sort of the banking crisis in the US in March of 2023. Bitcoin's up 3x since then, right? They haven't stopped. Republicans, Democrats in the US are printing money. European Central Bank is printing money. China eventually is going to have to print money to stop the deflation in China. Japan has never stopped printing money. So, it's only going to get worse in terms of the amount of fiat going around the world.
U.S. tech stocks also tanked on Tuesday, with Apple and Nvidia sinking about 3% and the Nasdaq 100 losing more than 2%. However, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink once said that BTC could still be an alternative inflation hedge asset, while speaking to Fox Business in July 2023. Head of research at 10x, Marcus Thielen, told Cointelegraph that Bitcoin was initially designed as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, not a safe haven asset, before adding, "Bitcoin is still maturing and has yet to fully transition into its potential role as a gold substitute, which some believe will occur if governments outlaw individual gold ownership." He said that until then, Bitcoin's price will continue to be influenced by economic and liquidity cycles, and the current economic outlook remains weak. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.